ladies and gentlemen. It is Rosie's Gaming here. Uh, per request, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little overview of what I use on my Akizuki. Um, so I am running Takeo Kurita. Uh, of course, you've got your booster flags there. That's up to everybody. But for the build here, um, I'm running the main battery mod 2. However, at the time of the video that I posted yesterday, I was running AA Guns mod 2. Because of the reload time decrease, but I've kind of offset that with some inspirations here. I'm running steering gears, concealment, and then main battery mod 3. Uh, the reload, I'm at 2.5, 1200 max HE shell damage, 11-kilometer fire range. Statistics wise, I've got 20,400 hit points, which is pretty chunky for a IJN destroyer. Most of the time you're used to them being really fragile. 180 degree turn time is 11.2. AP shell is 1700 damage. Like I was saying yesterday, these torpedoes hit very, very hard. 20,967 damage. They're pretty run of them. They're pretty hard hitting. AA defense. They don't have a whole lot of damage, but you can, surprisingly enough, get the Akizuki to have pretty stout AA. It's nothing like Friesland levels, but you can get it to have pretty stout AA. 34 with a speed flag, rudder shift 3.5, turn circles is 730. Concealment, I'm at 5.3. I was yesterday, I believe I was still at 5.3. I might have been at 5.2 possibly. But the commander overview, like I said, I use Kurita. I'm running Observant Rage. I like to be relatively stealthy because you can get pretty close to a lot of destroyers at 5.3 and make them have a brown trouser moment, as the Mighty Jiggles likes to say. So I use Look at Me Now, and then I use Perceptive. Decreases the damage to me. Gives me better torp detectability compared to here, which just gives you a better traverse speed. I feel like Perceptive is just a much better perk choice here at tier 3. And then I just use Smoke on the Water compared to Cloudy Days. And then I'm using Unstoppable, which is pretty much super duper necessary with the Akizuki. She loves to get her engine knocked out. Evil Sparks, it's really not worth it because of how low caliber these guns are. They don't produce a lot of damage right out of the box. So I really prefer to not use Evil Sparks. I have tried it before. It's kind of funny, but it's not really as beneficiary. So I am using Eric Bay, of course, for better detectability, and then using Ding for the increased main battery reload. However, what I was running yesterday, I believe, let's see here, where is he at? I was using that for AP shell penetration multiplier. That made the Akizuki's AP really deadly, but I decided I wanted to go for a little more reload, so that's what I went with. Instead of, I believe it was 2.9 without that added on there, it's now down to 2.5 with him and the current selection of parts and whatnot that I have added on here. I'm using the legendary Akizuki camo just because really common with me, pardon me, is I like to use the legendary camo on ships that I play very often. But that is my Akizuki. That is how I have her set up. As you can see, I play her a lot. I've got a lot of Elite XP chilling out on her for now. I also just have a lot of Elite XP hanging out. But that will be my Akizuki upgrade. And, well, loadout, basically. Couple of fun builds. Like I said, you could use the AP penetration multiplier. Anton Gurin, I believe was his name. The other thing that's kind of funny would be, like I said, the Evil Sparks. You could do that. There was also, since he got changed around, there was another commander that you could use that was actually kind of hilarious. PG Repeats used it in his Akizuki video, and I tried it, but of course, by that time they had changed that commander around quite a good bit, so it made that build a little less interesting. But the Akizuki, pros and cons, really pros. You can get her relatively stealthy, and she's got a really, really good fire rate. I would take this over a Friesland any day. She's got pretty good armor, surprisingly enough, for being a destroyer. 20 mil plating, 19, 20 mil, which is kind of trolly. Like I said, the torpedoes, they hit hard, but they're really like a last resort thing. The guns, fun fact, they have a very, very fast initial shell velocity. I don't remember what it is. I know on PC, I think it was like 1,000 meters per second, something like that. And at close range against a light cruiser with a flat broadside, you can get citadels relatively reliably. And you can also just absolutely chew up some ships. I remember there was one time where I was in my Akizuki, and there was a Vladivostok that poked around the corner, but he was too far back where he couldn't get his main battery on me. But he had his nose stuck out, and it was flat to where I was able to, punish that really, really well. I don't remember the penetration values up close, under a certain range, but generally speaking, when it comes to me, what I do is under 8 kilometers, depending on what target profile the ship is presenting me. I will change the shell that I'm firing. But that will be the Akizuki overview of my build and my setup. The other thing is the cons. Almost forgot the cons. She's super duper slow. She doesn't handle very well. Without the speed flag, she's pretty pitiful. So if you remember, it was 33 knots, 34, so you get an extra knot, but she takes forever to accelerate. The reason why I did the rudder shift instead of the acceleration mod is because there are times when I'm late in a match and I'm still alive and I'm having to do some open water gunboating. Kind of gives me the ability to wiggle waggle back and forth, left, right, right, left, so on and so forth, to prevent them from getting accurate target lock on me. But that's pretty much how I play the Akizuki. I will go for caps. The way to play her, in all honesty, is you want to conserve your health. You've got a good bit of health, and the longer that you are alive in the Akizuki, the more of a threat that you are, especially if you can stick around to when there's, say, one destroyer left, and you've got, all of the potatoes have been weeded out, and you've got the semi-decent to above-average players left in that team. You can really start to let her shine. She's very, very good at defending caps as well. Not very quick, which kind of lends to you kind of have to stay a little bit closer. So a double stealth build is viable. You're not going to lose out on a whole lot. And you can get your stealth down to about 5 kilometers, I believe. It's either 5 or 5.1, which can make a lot of destroyers have a brown trouser moment because they just can't outgun an Akizuki. If you have an Akizuki versus a Fletcher, Most people that get scared of Fletchers, at least me personally, when I was in other destroyers, I would get very, very nervous if I saw Fletcher on the enemy team because of how fast those guns fire. Um, and I would take an Akizuki over a Fletcher any day, and I've had it happen before. One thing of note, you're going to want, if you're facing another destroyer, fun fact, the Akizuki HE, without any boosts to it whatsoever, I believe will only pin, let's find out here, 100 divided by 6, because you get 6 pin, and then so that would be 16.666666667. You subtract 1, and you get 15. The HE will not pin destroyers of the same tier. So you're going to want to switch to AP when they start to give you a broadside. Biggest thing to keep in mind is be very wary of torpedoes. When you start to get into a close range knife fight with the Akizuki, you're going to want to kind of start to change up your speed, your pace, your turns, because you don't handle very well and you're relatively long for a destroyer. So you've got to keep that in mind, and you don't want to be so confident in your own skills that you forget to be wary of the fact that she does not handle like a typical destroyer. Um, so keep that in mind. And when they give you a flat broadside, you're going to want to switch to AP. You'll get better results with the AP over the HE at close range due to her not having, I believe, the 1/5 pin that she gets on PC. I believe it's 1/5. Because if you do 100 divided by 5, you'll get 20, and then you'll subtract 1, and that'll give you 19. So she can pin same tier destroyers on console here with her HE, but I've found that she does not have that, if I remember correctly. So, biggest thing to keep in mind, pros, stealth can be viable, quick fire rate, tanky with her health, with the amount of health that she has, and surprisingly decent AA for being a destroyer. Cons, weak torpedo armament, slow, unwieldy in a way, in poor hands. She doesn't handle the best, like I've said before. So that's one of the biggest cons. And that's why a lot of times I don't see Akizukis very often, because people either just didn't want to grind for them, or they just didn't care. Or they got it, didn't like it, and they got rid of it because they didn't understand going in that she wasn't going to be, a super quick handling, turning ship like the Friesland is. So, but that's the Akizuki Overlook. It's ways to play her, some tips on her, and everything. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.